Good afternoon, everybody. It's Mike with smartoptiontrading.com. It is Friday the 13th. Spooky. This is our weekly recap. If you want to join us, come on over to smartoptiontrading.com and join us up there. What can we say about this week? Last Friday, we had this big move off of non-farm payroll. That was a hot number. We gapped down after the attack by Hamas on Israel over the weekend, last weekend. And then we rallied anyway on some hot data. We had hot PPI, we had hot CPI, and then we just started to sell here. And a lot of this selling is based upon this was based upon a very bad 30-year Treasury auction, and today we've just been weak all day. And my theory here for the reason we're weak today, and we'll go into some other stuff, is that nobody wants to be long over the weekend. What we all know is about to happen over in Gaza. And I don't want to be political. I will all say to all of you, probably going to see some very ugliness coming out of there, and probably best to avoid the media as much as possible and just go by the headlines. But the market's worried, and the risk to the market is worried about this widening. And I still think as long as this stays confined to Israel and Gaza, that this does not widen. And so far, it's holding. So we have a little bit of a 2-day pullback here in the market. We did fill part of this gap this week, couldn't get completely through it. We've rolled over. Yesterday, we bounced off the 8-day. Today, we went below the 8-day, and then we bounced back up here again. But overall, the market is in a little bit of a pullback, a little weak here, and not a lot going on. Let's go looking at some other things. Start off with oil. Crude, you have a huge candle today. Again, this is fear to me. This is speculation of worry of this war widening. If this war doesn't widen, and I'd like to believe it won't, then um, there's no real reason for crude to go any higher because there's nothing that's going to change in the flow of crude. Remember, Israel and Palestine are not, really big producers and exporters of crude. So let's go into what else is going on. Let's go to the Qs. The Qs have remained slightly stronger, pulled back today, but yesterday held in a lot stronger. The IWM remains weak and almost back on the lows here. The VIX has rallied hard today, all the way up almost to the highs of the week, has come off pretty good here into the close. We need to keep an eye on the VIX here. It got out of the Bollinger Band briefly, but came back in. The dollar has also been strong again this week, pushing up here back now the last 2 days. Bonds yesterday came back down. Today got a little bit of a bounce, but didn't really do much. I don't know what's going on. Probably a flight to safety. Gold had a day of days here. We haven't seen a day like this in gold in forever. So you have that going on there as well. And then we have come back to the financials. So the bank's earnings season kicked in today. And next week we have a lot of names coming up. You got Tesla on Wednesday, Netflix on Wednesday. You have ASML, you have LRCX, among others. The bank started today with JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, and Citigroup. And to be perfectly blunt, they were all pretty damn good. The financials have come back down here, couldn't hold them. But JP Morgan was good. Look at this gap. Look at this huge push before coming in, still holding part of that gap. Wells Fargo, very similar, still up on the day from the open. Citigroup is the turd. And I have to say that Citigroup's almost always the turd of the group. That's been the way for a while. It was up big and it reversed here on their conference call and has gone red on the day. We'll see with the rest of the big banks. We have Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, and Morgan Stanley next week, as well as the regionals kicking in. And then the rest of this week, it's all been constantly about the big cap tech names. Let's just quickly look at energy names. They're up today, but not up as much as you would think. So, if you're looking for what we traded or what was in play today, we kind of followed the market as to where it was. Meta had a nice breakout. We were all over that on Monday. Big move up here, a nice couple day move before selling back down here, putting a new 52 plus week high to 330. Google said, hey, don't forget about me. It put a new 52 plus week high in here before selling back to the 8-day today. They were strong. Amazon had Amazon Prime Day. It ran up through the Amazon Prime Day and then came back in. A nasty little candle here today. But again, holding the 8-day filled a bunch of that gap. Apple went up and filled a lot of that gap as well. So a lot of these names are bringing them back here just before earnings. In the semi space, NVIDIA was strong, had a nice little quiet 4-day move up here before today's big doink candle. Same thing with AMD, kind of couldn't hold. We'll see. And then we need to talk about Tesla. Tesla has earnings on Wednesday. Tesla here has been trying to hold the 100-day back on it here again. You can see for the last couple months, this has been the hold spot. And we'll see what we do from here. The bottom line is the market is in a very tough spot. There's a lot of negativity out there. There's a lot of things to be afraid of. Rates are too high. We have the Fed in a couple weeks. We have inflation rearing its ugly head again. Oil's too high. The dollar's too strong. But earnings is the big equalizer here. And if these companies are delivering on earnings and guiding up, they're not going to care. So, right now we'll focus on the names. We'll also keep track of what's going on. We saw the Ukraine war going on. Now you have the war with Israel going on, and we'll see how they play out over the next week. Do charts on Sunday. Wishing you guys all a wonderful weekend. If you want to join us, smartoptiontrading.com. We'd love to have you. And I'll put a link in the description below. And everybody be safe and enjoy this fall weekend.